Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. This is the third training session for the Puerto Rico mission trip. I literally just got back to Phoenix late last night. So I have some updates for you that are, I guess you would say, hot off the press, that we literally just discovered over the last few days. So before we get started, I'm actually going to ask Gary Middleton, can you open us with prayer if you don't mind, please?
Yes, I'll be glad to. Dear Lord, thank you just for the amazing God you are, the knowns and the unknowns that you do in each of our lives. And now, as we gather together this evening, we ask that your guidance would be with us, your wisdom, your discernment, and also as we prepare, Lord, to gather together, not only in a medical way, but also, Lord, in a spiritual way. Guide our thoughts and our minds tonight that we glorify you in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. So thank you so much for that, Gary, and thank you to everyone that's joined. I appreciate Franklin. Thank you so much for recording this for us so that we can have it available, so that others can see it at a later time. So Franklin, I'll just ask you to forward to the next slide. So, as we mentioned before, we had received a kind of come over to Macedonia and help us in Vieques. And at the very end, for those of you who were able to watch a few of the little videos that we put out during our recent trip, we left on Thursday night, flew all night, did not get there until very early, 4 a.m. Friday morning, Puerto Rico time, which for Arizona, that's 3 hours earlier. So for me, we arrived at 1 a.m. and the day and the next 4 days just ran consecutively after that. But we're going to hear a little bit more about the come over to Macedonia Vieques and help us in just a few minutes. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, felt impressed that we needed to just go to Vieques and check it out for ourselves. Thank you so much to Mr. Honor, who also had gone about 4 weeks or 5 weeks or so ago, but really felt like I needed to get a feel for what was actually taking place there. I thought I was going to have to go by myself. Unfortunately, it didn't seem like anyone else was available. And at the last minute, my parents, who graciously agreed to, that's the three of us there in this little tiny plane that we flew across, agreed to come. And after a little bit, you'll see why they felt impressed that God wants this event to happen. They had not planned on coming to Vieques for the actual clinic. But you'll hear some of the miracles, and they too felt very impressed that this is what God wanted them to do. So, next slide, please. When we arrived at 4 a.m., their time into, next slide, please, into San Juan Airport, we were picked up graciously and so wonderfully by Roberto, who you'll see a picture of his cousin in just a few minutes. Her name was Paula. But he and his mother picked us up at 4 a.m. Friday morning, drove us from San Juan Airport to the Vieques Airlink. Now, the reason I'm telling you this information is not just so that we can hear a mission story, but also so that you can get information on just basic transportation information. So there are two different airlines that fly into Vieques. Vieques is a very small island off of the main island of Puerto Rico. Vieques is more Caribbean style. If any of you have flown or traveled to St. Martin or St. Kitts or any of the other islands within the Caribbean, you will understand what I mean. It seems more Caribbean. Puerto Rico, to me, seems more a little bit more like I was in Florida or California. And so we'll see some pictures of that in just a few minutes. There's a phone number there. That's Vieques Airlink. Some of you have asked, well, can we fly in? It's only a 30-minute flight. By all means, you certainly don't have to take the bus to the ferry, etc. There are flights, and that's what we did when we first flew in. It's only 30-minute flight. It's $100 one way from San Juan to Vieques. So we had to get from the main airport in San Juan over to the Vieques Airlink. It only takes about, I think it was about 10 to 12 minutes, but it was very early in the morning, pitch dark, no one was up, and these sweet, kind, loving people drove us, broke up their sleep, and drove us over there. Now, that's really significant because you'll see a picture of the cousin in just a few minutes. Sweet Paula, who's 25 years old, didn't sleep at all that night herself. She drove so she could make the 4 a.m. ferry so she could leave her car in Seba and then provide us transportation otherwise. As I mentioned, there's also Seba Airlines. They're more expensive than Vieques Airlink. And then there's the ferry, which we've talked about several times, which is $2 per way from Seba to Vieques and then back, etc. And their registration is on the website. Next slide, please. So one other information. This is actually our plane. If you look at this, it's an 8-passenger Cessna. I have not gone on a mission plane that size for a very, very long time. When I was at Thunderbird Academy myself, my father's a pilot. I thought, well, I wanted to be a missionary pilot. I knew my whole life I wanted to be a missionary. And so I thought, well, they teach flight lessons here at Thunderbird back in the day. They actually let you fly the planes. I'm going to take flight lessons. And I was doing okay. I was doing great until my instructor decided to put me into a dive and when that to have me be tested. And when that happened, I don't know, that was the last of it for me. I actually threw up in my shoe, and ever since then, I've had great fear of flying in small planes. Well, here, the Lord wanted to challenge my fear, and so much to my surprise, we were flying in an 8-passenger Cessna. It ended up being amazing, absolutely amazing. And all I could think as we were taking off, as the sun was just coming up on the over in there in Puerto Rico, as I was
The
thinking, I
essential
remembered this.
information could be
I remembered the song. The plane goes flying to the mission land that my grandma had taught me many, many years ago in Cradle. And it was really a beautiful, beautiful thing. If that's something that you're interested in, again, you can find the information on Vieques Air Lake. Next slide, please. So here's a picture of the plane goes flying to the mission land. It was a beautiful flight. It was overall just a very interesting experience. Next slide, please. So this is just again to show some of you have not been able to attend some of the other meetings. So this is just to show you where Saba is in relation to the Vieques Island. So the big island to the left is Puerto Rico main island. That is where you take off. If you were going to fly from Saba to Vieques, that's the Jose Aponte Hernandez International Airport. But the ferry is just right there at the base of that a little blue line just before you leave the main island of Puerto Rico. Next slide, please. Ferry transportation. This is actually a picture of the ferry. So we took the ferry coming back. I really wanted to get a full experience of what it would be like to travel either way in either direction. So it's basically a kind of a double-decker ferry. There's the top area, which is what that picture to the left is. And then you can see the big long line on the right. And I'm showing this to demonstrate that the tickets need to be purchased far in advance. I've already purchased 52 tickets. When I was there, I purchased 52 tickets. We really need to get the rest of them. We stopped at the 52 because we made a special request to the ferry that they would consider allowing us to bring our boat, our semi trucks and also not semi trucks, our trucks like big pickup trucks and also buses onto the ferry so that we can get them over to the island. I'm not sure that they're going to agree to that, but we also ask for financial assistance. At this point, I would highly recommend if you have a specific time that you are Some people are flying at other times other than the times that many of us are flying in and out of San Juan, and you're planning to take the ferry transportation at different times. I would highly recommend that you get your tickets ASAP online. They only sell 20% of the tickets online. The rest of them have to be purchased in person. So again, if you're planning to do that, please go ahead. If you're not planning to fly at the same time or around the same time as the rest of the group. Next slide, please. This is actually a schedule. You can go online and you can download this as well for yourself, but you'll see this is January schedule, and it is you'll see the Monday through Friday schedule, and then there's a Sabbath and Sunday schedule as well. If it's only a person, then it means that it's just
Sorry.
passenger. It's just passenger transportation. If there is a boat next to the image, it means that that is transport. Franklin, can you mute if you don't mind,
Sorry.
please?
Yes, I'm with mute people.
If everyone could just mute, that would be wonderful. If there's a boat next to the person, then it means that they're transporting vehicles with it. Which, why does that matter to you? It matters because it makes the transportation considerably more time. So if you're in a time crunch for catching a plane or whatever the case may be, just keep in mind when the boat is on that little takeoff time, just plan that it's going to take you closer to an hour, or maybe even a little bit more to get across. My travel time was about an hour and 15. We had the vehicles. We had quite a number of Coca-Cola semi trucks actually were on the ferry with us, and it took considerably more time. However, when Paula took it, she got over in less than 30 minutes. It was 20 minutes or thereabouts. So again, hers was a non-transportation. It was just the passenger symbol. Next slide, please. Um, so next slide, please. So when we arrived, next slide, please. Thank you. When we arrived into Vieques, we were greeted with these wonderful welcome to Vieques. It's a very, very loving community. I was so impressed with how wonderfully kind Puerto Ricans are, and they are so hospitable. Now you'll see the picture of the horse in the middle of the queue. It's because there are horses, wild horses everywhere. Next slide, please. That's probably one of your biggest hazards, is to avoid hitting a horse, because wherever you go, they're not mean. There's nothing mean about them, but wherever you go, there are these wild horses. So when we first arrived, we got our rental car, which, by the way, if you're planning to get your own car, again, no one is, forced to do any form of transportation. All I'm trying to do is let you know that there are different options available to you. So if you were planning to rent a vehicle, there are several different options as far as vehicles that you can do. You can either ride our transportation, you can rent from Avis. There's a couple of other companies that rent as well. Or you can even rent these little four-wheelers, which we'll talk about them in just a few minutes. Needless to say, we rented our car from Avis. If you're planning to do a rental, you need to do that right away, because as you can see on the slide, and we've talked about before, this is over a holiday that they refer to as Three Kings Day or Three Kings Holiday. So January the 6th is Three Kings Day. For the islanders, for Puerto Ricans, it is an even bigger holiday, according to the locals, than in some ways Christmas is. So this is a very, very big holiday for them. So again, if you're planning to have transportation available, you need to make those plans, whichever way you end up deciding to go, right away. So when we met with the mayor, we came into town. It was a miracle of God. We were actually able to meet with the mayor. The mayor is the gentleman in the blue shirt. The vice mayor is the gentleman in the red shirt. I'm in between the two. Paula is just next to the mayor, of course, Mr. Gilbert, my father, Dr. Gillinda Gilbert, and our wonderful Pastor Gladys is there at the far end, and we'll talk about Pastor Gladys's church in just a few minutes. But we met with the mayor, and he is so grateful and so excited about what we as Seventh-day Adventists are coming to do for his area, his city of Vieques. Um, we actually, it was so beautiful. I've had the opportunity of meeting with lots and lots of government officials over the years, and I have never had this happen. But Pastor Gladys asked at the end of this beautiful meeting if the mayor and the assistant or vice mayor would like to have prayer. And they said yes. And we all stood in a circle, as well as the administrative assistant for the mayors, and prayed. And it was just the most beautiful thing. Vieques and actually Puerto Rico in general, I've discovered are wonderfully spiritually Christian location, and it was just a beautiful thing. But the plan is that this is the Three Kings gift. So for Puerto Ricans, the Three Kings Day is a day that they recognize the three wise men, presumably on this day, gave their gifts to baby Jesus. Now, we all know we don't exactly know what day that happened, but nonetheless, we can utilize these opportunities for wonderful witnessing tools. And so we had proposed to the mayor that this be the Three Kings gift that he gives in partnership with all of us to his community. And absolutely, this was greatly appreciated, and this is what he's advertising as well, and is very excited about. Next slide, please. Um, the community is very it's in great medical need. They used to have a hospital. For those of you who've been keeping track, this is actually one of the minimal clinics that they have there. It's right next to the mayor's office. But they do not have the specialist availability is pretty much non-existent. Since 2017, when Hurricane Maria came through and destroyed Vieques, they have not had a hospital. They have a small urgent care, which pretty much all they do is ship people, they stabilize them as best they can, and then ship them off the island. This is just the medical clinic, and it takes, I've heard, I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist. It takes 3, 4+ months to be able to see even an obstetrician. So for them, next slide, the medical care and medical opportunities of this Three Kings gift, January 6, 7, and 8, which God and God alone, we're not giving this gift. This is Jesus in us and through us to be able to give this wonderful gift on the day really that we are recognizing as the day that Jesus, we can remember that Jesus gave us the free gift of eternal health, eternal life, and that's ultimately what we want to direct the people to as well. This is actually a picture of the multi-purpose center. Originally, I took this picture kind of standing out on the street. Originally, we thought this is where we were going to do the clinic, but next slide, please. If you go to the next slide, it actually has the address. People have been asking for the address. You can take a snap of that if you'd like right now. We will be doing the evening meetings and the Sabbath celebrations at this location. The reason is because, next slide, please. It's a beautiful facility. It's nicely air conditioned, but it's very, very small comparative to what we need. For those of you who've done and participated in our events before, it's about 2,000 or 2,200 square feet available space. And if that we were going to use part of that for chairs for the evening meeting, pretty much we're left with not much area to be able to provide medical and dental and vision and all the other services that we offer. So we began to pray and wonder what we should do. I was given the phone number by a lady named Elizabeth, who Pastor Gladys will come back to in just a minute, provided. I reached out to the superintendent of education for the high school, didn't hear anything back. Several calls were made. This was Friday, didn't hear anything back. So through Friday, through Sabbath, really didn't know where God would have us to go. Next slide, please. We were driving down the road and Sabbath was ended. We had had a nice opportunity of going out and doing a little bit of hiking and looking at some of the beautiful beaches that are there on Vieques. Sabbath was over. We were driving back and I got a call from Pastor Gladys. And I flipped over, and for many of you know, my Spanish unfortunately is non-existent, essentially. And it was Pastor Gladys. She was calling to talk about something unrelated. And all of a sudden, while I was talking to her, my phone, I got a call from the superintendent. Now, at this point, I had left about 3 messages. I believe Gladys had left 1 or 2 messages as well. We hadn't heard anything back. We thought, well, I guess this opportunity of the school is just not going to be a possibility. While I'm talking to Pastor Gladys again, the phone rings. I click over. It's the superintendent. I merge Pastor Gladys because had she not been on the phone, the superintendent and I would not be able to communicate because unfortunately the superintendent doesn't know English and I don't know Spanish. So our conversation would have been essentially non-existent. Come to find out, as the two of them translating and having a discussion, Pastor Gladys with the superintendent, after she heard what we were going to do, she heard that we're partnering with the mayor's office. She got very excited. And even though it was 8:30 at night, she was already in bed on Saturday night. She got out of bed, came to the school, opened the school for us, provided us the entire institution, which is well over, just in the classrooms alone, over 4,500 square feet. Plus, we have the Center Plaza area which is the green area in your picture, which is where we can provide the free lunch for all the volunteers and the patients. And then in the classrooms, we have in the picture to the right, we have tables. We have, I think it's about 4 times to 5 times the number of chairs available. It really, really was a miracle of God. And had the timing not worked out just then, she said she was already in bed, she was already asleep, and for some reason, she woke up and she thought she should return this call. And it just so happened that she called at just the moment that I was talking to Pastor Gladys. For me, for those of us, next slide, please. For those of us that were there, we really did believe that this was a timing from God and God alone. That, of course, is our wonderful Ms. Brenda Torres, the superintendent of the school. In front is Paula, myself, my mother, and my father. God works in mysterious and wonderful ways. Next slide, please. Accommodations. Many of you have asked questions about the accommodations. So this is when you're on the south side of the island is Esperanza. There's lots of hotels and Airbnbs and different things down by Esperanza. We've also flipped the locations of the accommodations. Initially, we had planned that the high school was going to be staying at the Methodist house, but for several reasons, we are moving the Thunderbird Academy students to the church. We'll show that location in just a few minutes, which means that the Methodist location is available on a limited basis. We do have quite a number of college university students that are now coming in. We have both Antillean Seventh-day Adventist University students, nursing students that are coming. We have a number of students that are coming from Puerto Rico or Universidad de Puerto Rico. And then there's a couple of other locations that we're very excited about. Today, I just got a call from Washington Adventist University, and they want to send students. Pacific Union College, of course, is partnering, which we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. So right now, although there are a few beds, I should say, available at the Methodist location, which really is more of a dormitory style. Those are being, those are filling up as well. But again, you can reach out to Tammy for that information. There are other discounted hotels that we have in Esperanza. The transportation will be slightly more limited in that area, but we will help you with that as well. We do need to hear back. Please connect. Next slide, please. Please connect ASAP with Tammy. The phone number will be coming forthwith in just a few slides. This is Esperanza. This is a beautiful picture of right there of the Caribbean side of the island. It's just absolutely pristine. This is a picture of the Methodist Mission House, which we already described, which is the next slide. If you want to go to the next slide, please. The Methodist Mission House, that is that there on the Esperanza. Next slide, please. They also have kitchens, and many of the locations, and we'll come to the Bravo in just a minute. The Mission House has one as well. The church has one. There are kitchens or partial kitchens. Most of the, obviously, the Airbnbs do as well. Many of the hotels also have kitchens in them as well. So that helps as far as cost. If you're not planning to purchase all of the meals or donate, I should say, as you're able towards all of the meals, it at least makes breakfast more accommodating. Next slide, please. This is actually a picture of the inside of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. As I already mentioned, this is kind of a multi-purpose area room where we will be utilizing the church there. The church is kind of in between. It's closer towards the Vieques city side, which is where the clinic will be, but it's kind of in between. It's a beautiful facility. And in fact, I told the pastor on Sabbath, when I drove up, I said, this is one of the most beautiful buildings in the entire island. It really is beautiful. Next slide, please. So if you look at the opposite end, we just looked at the south side and accommodations on the south side of the island. This is the north side. Accommodations, the main location for accommodations is the Bravo Inn or location. Next slide, please. Across from the Bravo Inn, next slide, please. There you go. Right, stay there, please. Across from the Bravo Inn, which is just on the other side of this picture. So this location right here is not officially the Bravo Inn. This is where we stayed. This was a 2-bedroom, one bath, and a very small kitchen, but it was very nice. It's only 2 minutes from the clinic. The clinic will be at the school. It literally is barely down the hill. The Bravo location, when I met with the gentleman there who's overseeing it, still has a number of rooms. I know several people have called me and told me all the Bravo rooms were taken. When I was with him, he said, the rooms are still available, but he's only going to hold them until just after Thanksgiving. After that, he's opening it up because, of course, he's a business and he needs to fill those rooms. He is giving us, I believe it's a 15% discount, 15 or 20% discount. The rooms are absolutely beautiful. They're very clean, and it's a very safe area. So again, if you're still looking for a room, please do that right away because he can't hold the rooms any longer. So that information will be coming up again in a slide in the next few slides. But again, it's very close to the clinic. As far as those of you who are staying in Esperanza, we also told you that if you're planning to use the transportation, there is a requested fee for that, but it will take, it's about 15 minutes or so, even going from the south side all the way to the north side. Everything is very close proximity. Really nothing is too far distant. Next slide, please, which comes to the bus schedule. Next slide, please. And then you can go to the slide after that. Okay, so the main issues related to the buses, as we've talked about several times before, but I know there are several new people on tonight. There are 2 main bus schedules. There's the main, and if we can mute, if you don't mind, that would be wonderful. Thank you so much. So from on the main island of San Juan Airport, we have contracted with a bus company to get people from San Juan to Ceiba only at the times that are listed. Some of you are flying at different times, which is completely understandable. There are lots of other times or lots of other ways, taxis, buses, etc., to get from San Juan Airport to Ceiba, which is the port city if you're planning to use the ferry. And then, but these are the ones that we have contracted, and that those are the prices that we have listed and discussed previously. We have had to change a few things because we have so many volunteers, which we're so grateful for. So we're actually going to be having two pickup times at San Juan Airport, noon or thereabouts on January 4 and 3 p.m. January 4. And this is just because of what we discovered when we were meeting with the bus driver. We're probably going to have at least one bus that's just going to be dedicated to equipment and luggage, because there's no way we can get all of the people plus all of the luggage in in one bus. It's impossible. So we will have two times for transportation going down and then returning on January the 11th, which is Sunday. So January the 4th is above, January the 11th, going back from Ceiba back to San Juan. Again, this is just the bus schedule on the main island. We still have to get from the ferry, which we've already discussed previously as well. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, one slide. Okay, very good. Island transportation. So pickups, we have the Esperanza pickup. If you're planning to utilize some of the pickups, I know I saw Pastor Gladys on. Pastor Gladys, if you could please ask the gentleman at the church who is so gracious, if he could please reach out, perhaps the three of us could have a three-way, because we need to get that Esperanza pickup van coordinated. And then we will have the Seventh-day at the Seventh-day Adventist Church location. We'll have one of the big buses there to pick up, because we'll have a large number of people there, and then a smaller van at the Bravo Inn area. Now, the nice thing is again, the Bravo is only a walk of about it's about a half a mile or thereabouts. It's only a 1 to 2 minute drive. Esperanza pickup, like I mentioned already, will take about 15 minutes. And that will probably be a van based on the number of people, but we will see based on how many people end up staying. We will not be able to have the Esperanza bus actually drive to the Methodist Center, which is what I originally thought, because there's just no way. When you see the roads, you'll understand why I'm saying that you can't get a bus back there. It just wouldn't be possible. So we have a workaround fixed up about that, and more information will be forthwith. The most important thing is we just need to know who's planning to do what form of transportation. Dr. Woods sent out several emails and sign-up sheets for people to know what your plans are. If you're planning to use the bus that we were providing and are good with the recommendation as far as cost is concerned, please fill that out. If you're planning to get your own transportation, that's great as well. We just need to know so we can make plans accordingly. Next slide, please. Meals. In fact, I have to turn those numbers. The bus driver wanted me to finalize our bus numbers no later than the week after Thanksgiving. So that would be next week. So I really, really need to have these numbers right away. Meals. The meals will be plant-based. Several people have asked that they have specific allergens. I would just ask that you would please plan your meals accordingly for yourself. We completely respect people's allergens, but there's just no way to make food accommodating for every single allergen. So just please plan accordingly. There are several small grocery stores in town. We did visit them. I've been to, I don't think I went to all of them, but I went to several of them. They have basic food that you actually would be surprised how much they have. The prices are a little bit more than we would have here in the continental US, and even a little bit more than on the mainland. I did notice that of Puerto Rico. Several of you have asked for the menu. That is still pending. It's still being worked out, but I can tell you that by the grace of God, the meals will be beautiful. And I see Mr. Baptista, I know I don't know if you've had your baby yet, or not you personally, but your wife has had your baby yet, Elijah. But Elijah, if they're able as a family to come, the food is just spectacular. Everyone loved their food in Asheville, and they're just blessed by God. But again, it will be plant-based. It will be very tasty. Lunch meal is provided for everyone as always. That during the clinic days, lunch is always provided to patients and volunteers. So that would be the 6th, 7th, and the 8th. Whether or not you choose to purchase the meals at all the other times. If by the grace of God we get enough money coming in, and I'm wanting to do this by faith. We're still working out those details, but to be able to have an evening meal available before the actual evening program, it worked so beautifully when we were in Asheville. So we have a few things we're still working on, primarily trying to raise the funds for that so that it's available for everyone, patients and volunteers. But we're still working out those details. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Franklin. Next slide, please. Okay. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so the oceans. We're going to take a couple minutes just to talk briefly about the safety and the beautiful scene. This is literally me taking a picture from the Bravo. That is my phone taking that picture. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this is the Atlantic Ocean side of the island. It is open waters, meaning it's just going straight out into the sea. There are currents on the north side, which is where this is on the Atlantic Ocean side. So the recommendation is to avoid the open waters. You want to walk on the beach, by all means, just walk on the beautiful beach right there. But really, truly, when we go out as a group
Dr.
where we go, we are talking with the locals who know exactly where the safe waters and safe snorkeling and swimming areas are, and that is where we're planning to go. So the rest of the locations, such as the beautiful picture in front of you, is to look at, but it's best not to get into the water and follow local recommendations. Next slide, please. This is again just to show a better overview. Next slide, please. This is a better overview of the island, if you will. Franklin, if you could go to the next slide, please. Okay. Franklin, next slide, please. There we go. Okay, so you're looking at the island above where it says Vieques National Wildlife Refuge. That is the north side. Of the island where it says Vieques, that's where on the top where it says Vieques, the top Vieques location, that is where the school and the multipurpose center are. At the bottom, you can see where it says, and the south side, Esperanza Pier. And then you're going to see Playa Caracas, Para Prieta. And by the way, we went to all these beaches on Sabbath, Playa La Shiva, and just drove this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful road as far as it would go, all the way out to Playa La Plata. It's an absolutely gorgeous road, but it is definitely requires a four-wheel drive. So we will be going as far as we can in the buses for our excursion and our Sabbath walking on Sabbath after church. But again, this side of the island, all of those beautiful playa locations are on the Caribbean side. The beaches are safe and beautiful. Next slide, please.
Dr. Lewis,
Yes.
you're breaking up.
Okay. Can you go to the next slide, please? Can you hear me
Yes,
now? Can you hear me?
I can this moment in time.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I can't hear you right now.
Okay. So go to the next slide, please. Okay. Okay. Mosquito repellent. Okay, they say they can hear me. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, okay, so mosquito repellent, we recommend that you bring mosquito repellent. I was using it continuously. One of the greatest things is those citronella. You can go to the Dollar Tree. They make those citronella wristband things. I had I was kind of a nerd. I had them on my wrists and my ankles. It worked out great. And I didn't have any problems. More as far as safety, stay in groups. It's actually a very safe island. I did not feel concerned. I've been to lots and lots of places around the world and have had different encounters. I really did feel safe. I didn't feel it, in any sort of jeopardy, but it's always good to be wise. And so we are asking that our teams stay in groups. We're going to stay together. We're going to be preventative. Jesus doesn't want us to be presumptive. So it's always good to be careful. Next slide, please. Professionalism and dress according to God's glory. We want to bring glory to God in how we appear. We are a professional clinic. Now, I'm talking about the clinic right now. I'm not talking about the day we go on our excursion and when we go on our hikes. So from the days that we're in clinic, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, the 6th, 7th, and 8th, we are asking for professionalism. When you're in the hospital as a medical professional, you are not to wear open-toed shoes, and we all know why. You could, drop something, a scalpel, blood, who knows what could get on your feet. So closed-toed shoes, plus you want to be comfortable. There'll be lots of walking and you want to be as comfortable as possible. For the bottoms, pants for the gentlemen, navy blue, tan, or black. For those of you who've participated in our events, you are familiar with this. Again, please, no jeans, no shorts, no immodest apparel. For tops, we will talk about the polo shirts in just a minute. Young ladies are welcome to wear modest skirts, tan, navy blue, or black as well. Again, modesty is requested. For the shirts, polo style. It doesn't need to be the polo brand, but polo style, and we'll provide the color coordination scheme to you in writing. I believe Michaela may have already sent that to you, but we will be sure to send that out. Essentially, just consider the fact that if it's a medical service, you're probably going to be wearing a white polo shirt, unless it's one of the mental health or physical therapy and those kinds of things. But primarily, if it's a medical position, then you'd be wearing a white polo shirt. If it's non-medical, things like registration, hospitality, cooking, logistics, it's going to be black. But we'll give you more specifics in the days upcoming if you haven't received that already. And yes, the ladies can wear pants or slacks or skirts. Again, navy blue, black, or tan. And then as far as attire, as we already mentioned, just modest, and we want the attention and glory to go to God. We want to glorify God in what we do, how we say, and how we approach ourselves, present ourselves. And I personally don't want people, I really want people to see Jesus in me. I want people to see Jesus, not see me. And so we're asking again for no jewelry. It's both a safety issue. Even in the hospital, it's a good thing to not have large amounts of jewelry because it can be a safety thing. But we want to have, again, more important than that even, we just want to bring glory to God and have people see Jesus and not us. Next slide, please. So spiritual health improvement. If you can go to the next slide, please, Franklin. Thank you. So spiritual health improvement. This is actually a picture of the beautiful Seventh-day Adventist Church. As you can see, it's just a beautiful thing. We're excited because there's multiple Seventh-day Adventist entities that are partnering together. Antillean University, of course, the Seventh-day Adventist Church there in Vieques, which is the picture there. The University of Puerto Rico, which is a secular university, but they're sending a number of students are coming to volunteer. In fact, I had the opportunity of presenting to them yesterday. Pacific Union College, Thunderbird Adventist Academy, East Puerto Rico Conference, and the Puerto Rico Union, as well as, and I forgot to put this on there, they're still working out the details, but it looks like the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Mayaquez, I'm sorry, the Seventh-day Adventist Hospital in Mayaquez is also planning to participate, and we're working out those details. Next slide, please. This is the inside of the church. It's a beautiful sanctuary. Again, I was just really impressed with how beautiful and open it was. Next slide, please. Um, this is the outside of the church. There's a beautiful area of grass. And again, it's about halfway between the two locations between Esperanza and Vieques, and it's a very open area. Next slide, please. You can skip the next slide because we've already talked about it. Go to the next slide, which is licensure, please. So we have been working with all the different licensing boards. In fact, yesterday, all morning, we got there right when they opened, and sweet Paula, she's just a wonderful gem. She drove us around all over the main island to get to all these different appointments, both on Sunday and Monday. But Monday morning, bright and early, we showed up at 8 a.m. when they opened and met with the different licensing boards. And we need to keep praying, but the Lord is opening a way. Next slide, I want to go through the different licensure so that everyone can kind of be on the same page. We are still in great need of more physicians and dentists and optometrists and pretty much any medical specialist. Again, non-licensed people are very welcomed and very needed as well, but we're especially in need of more dentists and more physicians. So let me tell you where things are as far as the medical licensure is concerned. We went around and around and around, and this is where we're at finally. So for temporary licensure, the Puerto Rican Medical Board wants the following: a certified license file from your state medical board. And Paula was the one that was able to discover this. So basically, for me, just to use me as an example, Paula reached out to the Arizona Medical Board, which I have a license in, asked the board to produce and send a certified copy of my file to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has now accepted that whatever in that file, they will accept it for temporary licensure. So my file may not have the exact same things as Dr. Smith's or Dr. John's, whatever. At this point, the medical board has stated that they will accept whatever is in that file, but it needs to be certified. They're requesting a hard copy, and that's the address there that needs to be sent to them. However, they did say, and again, some of these things are a little bit confusing, but they did say that you can also email a copy directly to the emails that are listed there at the Puerto Rican Department of Health. For more information, reach out to Michaela or myself or Paula offline. Dental board. The dental board is a little bit trickier. So although it's a simple application form, there's a few things that they're asking for in addition that are slightly a little bit more tricky. And again, we went around and around, and this is the best that we can do. Make sure, professionals, that you fill out your dental application in blue ink. This is just what they require. We're trying to follow suit for whatever they want. Also, it needs to be the original form of identification for your state. So, for example, if you have a passport or you have obviously we all have driver's license, but if you have a passport card or an extra driver's license, some of our providers actually have that, or a passport, Paula needs an actual hard copy mailed to her. It can't be a photocopy. It actually has to be the original form, because that has to be taken to the Puerto Rico Police Department, and then she will pay the fees for the $15. I know many of you put your credit card information. Don't worry, it hasn't been run. This was just a snippy do that we ran into yesterday. This is the best plan. LHA will pay the $15, but we will need you to sign a form that will be coming to you, recognizing that Paula Fernandez is your representative. I think we can get this all taken care of in a fairly quick perspective, but it's going to just take a little bit of all of us working together. It's going to work out by the grace of God. Next slide, please. Nursing. Nurses, this is very simple. All they need a copy of is your driver's license, a copy of your state license. You don't have to send your originals, unlike the dental board. on the medical board, and a CB. So nursing is very simple. Again, for any further questions, reach out to Dr. Michaela Ross or myself, and I will try to assist. Please keep prayers. We pray for our hygienist situation. We're making a specific request to the governor herself that they will provide a temporary licensure for hygienists because at the time being, they do not have temporary licensure for hygienists. So we're still working on that one. Optometrists, we're waiting on final recommendations. Next slide, please. And again, if you have more questions, we'll go through offline. We'll talk more about licensure issues. So excursion day, January 9. So again, the clinic is the 6th, 7th, and 8th. On the 9th, which is Friday, is excursion day. It's going to be a wonderful, fun, exciting day. This is actually a picture that I took from just right near the school where the clinic is going to be. That is actually the fort. This was an old Spanish fort that was there that is there still in Vieques. And so we can drive up there. We can't go up to it anymore because there's some construction issues going on there, but that is one of the things that we're going to be looking at. Next slide, please. Bioluminescent bay. For those of you who are planning to, it's an optional. It's the only excursion piece that will cost any money. It's optional. It's $40 a person if you'd like to go on. It's kayaks and they take us out. We are planning to go out either on the night of the 8th or the night of the 5th. I'm still hoping we can make it out on the night of the 5th as well. But again, if you please go ahead and sign up if you're wanting to do that, and we can get that information over to our kayak company that we're contracted with. Next slide, please. We will also be doing on our excursion day, we'll do snorkeling and swimming. You can see how beautiful that water is. Again, this is on Sabbath. We're walking down the beautiful sandy beach. These are all of the locations you can see on the left. There's hiking, there's Caracas Bay, Pata Prieta, La Chiva, and La Plata. All of those are great swimming and snorkeling areas. And then on Sabbath, we'll be doing some hiking along this area. And it's just going to be a wonderful come ye apart and rest a while. Next slide, please. Again, just a come ye apart and rest a while opportunity. This is taken from my phone. I mean, these pictures to me look like postcards. This is just right there in Vieques looking out towards the ferry pickup. Next slide, please. I was very excited to see this little guy on Sabbath coming back from church. He's there sunbathing. He's one of the green iguanas, and we'll be doing some come ye apart and rest a while on Sabbath afternoon, January the 10th, after the special celebration where the mayor, we've invited the governor, the president of Antillean University, as well as the president of the union and some other individuals, and are coming together, all of us, to just thank Jesus for allowing us all to work together to be able to be his hands and feet. Next slide, please. This is one of the areas there on Sabbath that we were hiking at. I think this is Playa Prieta. But again, you can see how calm the waters are. This is a very safe area. And it's actually very warm. When I put my foot in the water, I couldn't believe it. For those of you who know me, I get cold anywhere I go. The water was so nice and warm. It was just absolutely pleasant. Next slide, please. This is actually, we were fed such wonderful food. There's actually Pastor Gladys with my parents in the background, and then we have Paula, myself, and then these wonderful family invited us for Sabbath lunch. Again, they're just very, very, very hospitable, wonderful, loving people. And it's so beautiful. One of the people that we went to eat lunch with, I think it was yesterday when we met with Dr. Diaz, he said, it's so beautiful because when we, as Christian Seventh-day Adventists, no matter where we are in the world, when we come together, it's like you've reunited with a family member. And it really is true. The last night, next slide, please. The last night we were there, Um, we were able to actually Paula arranged. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. There you go. Paula was able to arrange for us to stay at the home of one of her family members. And when we walked in, this was late, what was this, late Sunday evening. And there they were. They were having a Bible study right there in their home. And it was just there they are praying. It was just such a beautiful thing. They opened their homes up. And I'm just very excited because as we all come together, and next slide, please, and we bathe ourselves in prayer as well, that God will help us to be truly, truly, not in cliche sense, but truly his hands and feet, that he's going to do something absolutely beautiful. Next slide, please. Again, we're following in the Master's footsteps. Jesus said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me to preach good news," of course, quoting from Isaiah, "to preach good news to the poor, to set at liberty them that are bruised." And that, of course, is our great calling. Jesus wants to use us. He doesn't need us. He could do all of these things himself, but he's allowing us to be his hands and his feet. You can skip next slide, please. And I think as we continue to embark upon this, I personally am praying a lot that truly, truly, there's 8,300 people on this island. There's so much need. Truly, um, truly, there's a lot of need, but we need more laborers. And so that is what we need to pray for. Next slide, please. We're in particular need, as I already mentioned, of licensed professionals. Yes, we're very, very much in need and very excited for every non-licensed volunteer, but especially in need of more dentists and more physicians. And again, unlicensed volunteers, which is the next slide. If you can go to the next slide, we need more chaplains, and we've got a number of music therapy. The music is going to be beautiful. Food service is very, very, very important. We're looking at 700 lunches each day. We will consider actually just disregard that number. We'll talk about that offline. And logistics, transportation, construction, registration, spiritual wellness, and the list goes on and on. Next slide, please. Again, more prayer for financial support. This is turning into be a bigger endeavor. It always ends up being this way, but it's being a little bit of a bigger endeavor than we originally thought. But God is providing. I'm not going to go through each one of these slides. We will be emailing this out. Next slide, please. You can just zip through and go on to slide number. Actually, you can just go on to slide number 63, Franklin. We're not going to go through each day's schedule because we did that last time. Just in the interest of time, just go ahead and slip to, there we go. Again, this is Tammy's phone number. You guys can take a copy of that or a snapshot of that. As we already mentioned, we had a requested donation of $200 per person for food. Some of you have written in and asked and said that there's a great financial situation, and we completely understand that, and we're working to accommodate everyone as much as possible. Those are requested prices, and again, if you have significant issues, please just reach out, and I know the Lord will provide. Because if God is calling you, there is no question he will provide a way. Next slide, please. Housing. Again, we've already discussed this several times, but the housing is available. But again, after Thanksgiving, for example, at the Bravo, the gentleman is opening it up to anyone, so those facilities will not be available anymore. The church is pretty well not available at this point, but there are some additional rooms at the Methodist location. Next slide, please. At this time, I want to ask Franklin if you can go ahead and pull up Elizabeth's appeal. When we arrived, we were pretty tired. In fact, I'm still fairly tired. We flew a lot over the last few days, but it was after flying all night long, and we met with this sweet, sweet lady. Her name is Elizabeth, and she is a Christian. I'm not sure which specific denomination she is, but she's a beautiful Christian lady, and her ministry. her ministry provides lunches, a nice hot lunch every single day to people in need. And I want you to listen to her appeal. This is literally her appeal. In my opinion, this is kind of the call to come over to Vieques or the call to Macedonia Vieques. Listen to Elizabeth. There's no volume. Franklin.
Jesus like 30 years ago. And the beauty of this is that I know in who I trust. I know where to go when I feel overwhelmed. And I know that always there will be a way because Jesus is the only way. And when we speak about Jesus' provision, we might say, like a cliche, Jesus will provide, but we've seen this. We've seen this every day with groceries, with volunteers, and whoever you are and whatever you are, trust Jesus. He is the real thing. He is the thing. He is the king. And it's not about religion. It's not about a label. It's about a relation. He's really there when you need him. When you more, he's the joy. He is. He loves me however I am, and he never fails. He has a promise that the work that he began in me, he will finish and complete. And I
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, my
Oh,
name
you
is Ed.
can stop. You can pause. Thank you.
Is the real thing. He
So she went on, actually, I'm not sure what's happening with the technology, but you can stop it there, Franklin. But she went on to ask for the volunteers, our volunteers, to please come and share this beautiful message Jesus has given, that he gave on when he was on earth to give to these people, her people, right there in Vieques. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and close with prayer, and then we're going to take some questions, and then let those of you out east get to bed, and we'll go from there. Dear Father in heaven, thank you so much. Thank you that we were able to be in Vieques and Puerto Rico over the last few days. Thank you for your safety and for your traveling mercies, and I ask a special blessing on the people in Vieques. I pray that you'll please be with them, that you'll draw close to them, that you'll let them know how much you love them, and that you'll do the same for us, that you will draw close to us. We're coming into a beautiful holiday of Thanksgiving. Help us to remember how thankful that we are, that you have given us life, and every day you give us breath and all the blessings that you've provided to us. Thank you for the blessing of being able to help others. I personally thank you for that, that it helps to keep my mind focused on what truly matters, the true reward, which where rust and moth cannot destroy. So again, thank you, Father, for what you're going to do and what you are already doing. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Okay, Franklin, we have time for just a few questions. Do you want to read those questions for us, please?
All right, just 1 second. All right, first question. So if we already signed up for or paid for the bus and ferry to and from Seba, we do not need to get our own ticket, correct?
That is correct, but I need to know that information. So, if you have if you're planning to be there at the right times, that's what we said before. It's if you're planning to come a day earlier or a day later or whatever the case may be, you need to let us know. So please reach out to Tammy and let us know your schedule so that we can coordinate and make sure that the timing works out. What we had requested was if you weren't able to travel at the times that we had available slots, that you would get your own form of transportation, but we will work it out. Again, please reach out and let us know. You should have signed up in the sign up sheet and you would have seen what those times are. So if there's any further questions about that, please reach out to Tammy. Next question, please.
I'm ready to pay for my items on your website, but first I would like to confirm the prices. $145 for food, $40 for insurance, $4 for ferry, $70 for bus, 40 for bioluminescence tour, 210 for housing at $30 a night and for 7 nights.
Okay, if this is from Dr. Floyd, is this Dr. Floyd writing this question?
It says Floyd Hayes, so I think
Okay,
so.
Dr. Hayes, just call me personally if you don't mind. So the prices that's Dr. Hayes is our Pacific Union College um uh, professor. I forgot to mention that. I do want to mention something. Our wonderful Pacific Union College is offering students, college and high school, an opportunity to have up to 4 units of college credit, of 2 units of global health and 2 units of biology credit. We need to know that. I believe that went out as an email as well as a sign up sheet. If you are a student, whether in high school or in college, or a parent of a student, and you want to get the college credit, dual credit for high school and obviously college credit direct for college, we need to hear from you right away because there is a college fee of $120 per unit. We also need to make sure that you have the information and equipment ready to be able to do the laboratory portion of the class. So again, if that's something that you're interested in, please reach out as soon as possible. Dr. Hayes, if you could just reach out to me directly as far as cost for yourself with Pacific Union College. As far as the rest of you on the requested costs, that's the slide that was previous. Perhaps you can bring that back up while we're talking. Franklin, I believe it's slide number 53. No, I'm wrong. Let's see what slide this is. Maybe you can pull that up for me while I continue to take the next question. Requested
Okay,
cost
you were just breaking up.
63. 63. Go to slide 63. You can just throw slide 63 on the screen if you don't mind. That would be great. Um,
Okay, I will try.
Okay, no problem. Next question, please. It looks like we've got here on the screen again, Tammy's number. Maybe someone could put that in the chat is 509-851-0347. The requested, there we go. The requested price is for food is $200 for the whole time. Please keep in mind that again, for the 3 clinic days, everyone gets volunteers and patients alike a free lunch. And I'm hoping, Lord willing, we can also give a free dinner like we did in Asheville because it was so beautiful and it really brought the people. But again, any donations that we get, it's going also towards the food costs for the patient as well. And then as far as insurance goes, again, please just plan for your own traveler's insurance. The ferry ride is $2 each way. However, that is also dependent on the age of the individual. Anyone over the age of 75 is actually free. And anyone between, I believe it's 60 and 75 is only $1. So again, that's more information as to why you need to go ahead and register and we can help you with that information. Again, if you're not traveling at the designated times, please go to the website yourself directly and do the registration. That's going to be the easiest way. Again, if there's any further questions, reach out to Tammy on the cost and travel and housing. Next slide. Next question, please.
I received a list of 7 websites for the sign up genius. Do we have to click on each one in order to pay for everything? Are PUC classes mandatory?
No, POC classes are absolutely not mandatory. And I'm sure Dr. Floyd will be talking with him in just a little bit. When we go out as a group excursion, I'm sure he'll have lots of information for us, whether or not we are part of the student class or are not. I'm actually looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I'm not a college student anymore, but I still love biology. I was a biology major. I love it. So I'm looking forward, Dr. Floyd, to your information, but no, it's not mandatory. If you do want to register though, you do need to go ahead, put your information in there. and we will help get things worked out. Those are fees coming directly from Pacific Union College, and it makes perfect sense. This is college credit. The class again will cover the laboratory portion of the class will be taking place during the trip, and then the student, if they would like to get credit for the full course, would then take during the winter semester. It's an online course that they would do on their own and take quizzes and tests during the semester. Next question, please.
My flight lands at 3 p.m. How long will the bus wait?
Here is the dilemma. The dilemma is that the last ferry out of Saba to Vieques is at 9 p.m. I had originally asked to have the bus pick up at 4 p.m. to make the last ferry or the last trip. The bus driver told me we can go ahead and do that. However, if we hit traffic, which sometimes we do, very often we do, out of San Juan, we could miss that last ferry. And if we miss the last ferry, we're stuck on the main island until the next day and trying to find hotel accommodations, which is going to be not good. So I will talk to the bus driver. I don't know if it's still possible, if we could move it to 3:30 and still have enough wiggle room. But at this point, his recommendation was to keep the second trip to leave at 3. If your flight doesn't arrive till 3 and the bus is taking off at 3, that might be not a good thing. So if you can just reach out to Tammy offline, and meanwhile, I'll talk to the bus driver and see if we can wiggle a little bit and have it depart at 3:30. But what I don't want to do is have a whole bunch of people be stuck in Saba and not be able to get over to Vieques to their hotel accommodations. Next question, please.
Where will meals be served? How many meals a day? Will those who have to make their meals have time to do so?
Okay, so no matter what, everybody will have during the clinic days, you will have a lunch. Everyone has a lunch, volunteers and patients. It's donation based for people. If they want to do it, they can donate. If they can't, that's okay. So you will have a lunch on the clinic days. You don't have to worry about that. In the morning, if you're planning to not get the purchased lunch, or I guess donation lunch or donation breakfast, I'm sorry, then you could make that meal in your accommodation, depending on where your accommodation is. As far as the delivery of the breakfast, we're still working out those details, whether we provide that at the actual site, which is the way we originally planned to do it, or we provide it in the bus transportation. Most likely it's going to be at the school at the location, but we're still working out those details. Dinner, as I already mentioned, on the clinic days, if the Lord so provides the resources and the funding, I would really like to be able to provide a dinner banquet for patients so that they will also be inspired to come to the evening meeting, as happened in Asheville. And then that would be, again, as people are able, that would be a blessing to donate for the evening, those 3 days. I'm only talking about those 3 days. The rest of the meals, we will work with you on the location. We're still working out the details, but we have a few weeks to get that specifics taken care of. Next question, please.
What's the name of the mosquito bans?
What is the name of the mosquito? Oh, they're talking about the citronella. There's no specific brand name. If you go to, you can get them anywhere. You can get them online, on Amazon. You can get them at the Dollar Tree. They're citronella wristbands. It literally has citronella in it. And they're those, boy, I wish I had one in front of me right now. They have they look like, people used to use them as keychains. They kind of like are stretchy, almost like a slinky, but it's a big circle. I'll send a picture. We'll send it out as an email, but you can get them anywhere. And then we also highly recommend getting mosquito repellent I would recommend. I know there's some people who don't necessarily want to do that. That's perfectly your prerogative. Do it whatever way you want to do it. I normally never use DEET, but I went ahead and used mosquito repellent with DEET while I was there and didn't have any problems at all. Next question, please.
For those who will be in other hotels and Airbnbs than the ones mentioned, where will we meet to the bus to get around? Also, where will we meet the bus to get to the ferry at 4 a.m. January 11th?
Okay, if you guys can give me just a little bit of time and until I get the details from my bus driver. I tried to call him today, and he was unavailable. So I will get the specifics of where you will go to pick up and be dropped off. But I can tell you right now, it's not going to be like we won't be able to be like a bus. But in other words, like, how like city buses will have like 50 different stops. When you get there, you'll understand the roads are many of the roads are very small. That people park, it's like if you imagine this, it's a 1.5 lane road and someone's parking on one side of the road and the cars are the lanes are not divided. There's no divider, and instead of it being a one way, there's people coming at you, and you're going the other direction. So, it big bus transportation in certain locations is it's just going to be more. We're going to have some flexibility on this one, so that's why I'm recommending that we need to get a hold of those van drivers right away and get that worked out. But I will keep you posted. We will work the transportation piece out. It's just a little bit in flux right now. Next question, please.
And nursing wear scrubs.
We ask that people not wear scrubs because we try for uniformity. The only ones that do wear scrubs is dental because they do procedures. And they will receive specific, I believe it's tan scrubs, but I don't want to say that for certain. So you'll receive that information if you haven't already received that from Michaela. Next question.
Okay, okay, just a minute. Do the nurses who are helping out need to send their license as well?
Yes, please. So as we mentioned, the nursing license, again, please get the information in right away, but it's very simple. It's literally a copy of your nursing license from the state that you're licensed in, your driver's license, and your CB. And I believe Michaela has been notifying you of these, Dr. Ross has been notifying you of these things as well. Next question.
Okay, do we need to bring snorkeling equipment?
Yes, if you're planning to go snorkeling, then I highly recommend getting your snorkel set before you come. For sure, you need a snorkel and a mask. Some people, I personally like fins because I like to zoom around a little bit. But again, you don't have to have fins, but definitely you'll need a mask and you will need um, a snorkel. So, but again, you can get those online on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. You can get them at many of the stores as well. And yeah, just bring them with you. I believe actually I saw some for sale there in Puerto Rico as well. Next question.
What is the link for the bio tour?
The what? I'm sorry.
I think that's meaning the bioluminescence tour. I'm not
What is the
sure.
cost? The cost is
The link,
$40 per
the link.
person. Oh, the link. Well, it was sent as one of those links. I don't have the link, but if you go back to whenever you registered, Dr. Ross sent the links out. I don't know if Dr. Woods wants to put the link in the chat right now, or someone wants to do that, but it was sent out to you and when you registered. And if you didn't get it, you can reach out to Dr. Ross and she can send it to you again. Next question.
Also, what is the situation with air flight restrictions near Vieques due to the Trump/Venezuela disagreements?
I didn't have any problem whatsoever, and we didn't have any. In fact, the travel was so smooth. I was expecting, I got to the airport yesterday more than 2.5 hours before my flight. I didn't have any wait at all. I mean, I know sometimes the wait is bad, and I completely understand that, but yesterday I can just say I didn't have any trouble whatsoever. And there, I didn't see any increased military, so I wouldn't worry. And again, God is the God. He's the God of all the kings and all the difficulties and all the everything. And if he wants us to be there, there's nothing that's going to keep us from not being there. So, just an answer to the question, I didn't experience any issues whatsoever in that regard.
Okay, and Dr. Hayes is saying if anybody wants to chat with me about the PUC courses, you can text me at 707-337-0053. His number's in the chat, in the Zoom chat. One person asked, well, I guess this is about PUC, and they can actually contact Dr. Hayes. So I'm going to skip that question. What
Okay.
time? What time will we? No, well, okay, you already kind of answered that question. Um, do non-medical volunteers have to wear white polos? Jeans aren't allowed? Question mark.
No, please, no jeans. We're trying to be. We always that. This is not Vieques specific. No jeans and no shorts, please. This is a hospital. We are there to look, professional, and so yeah, so tan, navy blue, or black pants for the gentlemen, or slacks, or modest skirt for the ladies. That doesn't mean on our tour days you can wear your shorts. I mean, again, we want to be representatives of Christ. We don't want to be, immodest and those kinds of things. But again, you can wear, swimming attire and shorts and whatever. But the 3 days at the clinic, please, no jeans and no shorts. Yes. Next
Okay.
question.
How much time do we need to connect if we fly from San Juan to Vieques on the 11th? I have a flight at 11:30 a.m. in San Juan, but I don't know the process once we get to San Juan from the Vieques Airlink.
Okay, so they're kind of asking two separate questions. So if you're planning to fly Vieques Airlink, in other words, you're flying from Vieques to San Juan. It's a 30-minute flight. It's about 15 minutes from, or 12 to 15 minutes from the Airlink airport, which is this little tiny airport, over to San Juan Airport. As far as how much time you need to plan for, I'll tell you what happened to us. So our big group coming from Thunderbird Adventist Academy had flights to depart at 1:30 in the afternoon. And unfortunately, the airlines canceled our flight and moved the flight. The only available flight is a departure on the 11th at 11:10 a.m. So we are catching, obviously, by the grace of God, we talked about it a lot. We're catching the very first ferry ride out at 6 a.m. The 6 a.m. ferry departure, if you go back to that slide that I showed you, if it's just a person, it means it's just human transportation on the ferry, and there's no vehicles, which means it's about a 30-minute ride as opposed to an hour to an hour and 15 when the vehicles are on it. So that first 6 a.m. departure, we will be going across, and then to hit God willing, to get on the bus and make it to the airport by 9 a.m. So that is our plan. Um, I can't guarantee anything. Nobody can guarantee anything. So, yeah, you're just going to have to plan. Obviously, they recommend, just like any airlines and any airport, a minimum of 2 hours before the departure to check luggage on, etc. Are there any more questions?
Yes, still more, several questions at least. It says, please go over baggage allowance on the ferry and plane to Vieques.
Okay, so the baggage allowance on the airlines to Vieques, which is there's the two airlines. I don't know about the Seba Air. I think there's one called Seba Air. They were a little bit more expensive than Vieques Airlink. I can tell you about Vieques Airlink. Vieques Airlink has a 30-pound weight limit. More than 30 pounds, I think it's $1 per pound, if I remember correctly, up to 50 pounds. At 50 pounds, they don't allow anymore. That's to fly. Um, as far as the ferry, people were telling me that there's a 30-pound weight limit. I can tell you, people had huge bags, people were carrying lots of things, nobody was weighing anything. And there were hundreds and hundreds of people getting on the ferry. So I wouldn't worry too much about the limit on the ferry. The Vieques Airlink, like I said, is 30 pounds. I don't know anything about if they specify anything on the website. I wouldn't be too worried about it because no one was weighing anything. As far
Dr.
as
Leela,
equipment,
Dr. Leela, the Vieques Airlink free pounds that you can carry is 25 pounds, and that would include your personal items. And now
correct.
you can carry up to 50 pounds, but anything above 25 pounds is $2 a pound.
Okay, I gave the wrong amount. But yes, I had to pay, I think it was like $30 or something like that because I had more weight on Vieques Airlink. But again, that's the little plane. That's not the ferry. But we will be bringing over a whole separate bus, which will be using for transporting supplies and um, on the at the noon. Oh no, it's the noon bus ride down to Vieques. We're going to have an additional bus that's just going to be for transportation of equipment and additional supplies on the 4th. Next question, please.
Okay, someone asked, can I have a copy of this meeting sent to me? Can I answer part of that at least?
Sure, go ahead.
So I'm going to put my contact information right in the chat, and then if you got in a like I've sent texts and I've sent emails. If you by any chance don't get that, you have my text and you can contact me. But I will be sending out a copy of this meeting to everyone that signed up. Okay, so all right, now I'm trying to get to the next question. Just one second. Okay, I think. Okay, is there a specific website to purchase our travelers insurance?
No, you can actually go to your own personal site, or you can just do a search. You can use your own insurance, or you can just do a search on Travelers Insurance.
Where do we purchase ferry tickets?
So there is a website. If you pull back up that screen, I have it on there. It's called Fair. Let me go back up to the right slide. It's actually just type in your computer or your phone, Vieques Ferry, CEIBA, CEIBA to VIEQUES, and you can pull it up. It's also slide number, I'm looking for it. Oh, it's number 9. Slide number 9, it says Puerto Rico ferry schedule, and it's going to tell you the schedule of the ferry. The only reason I asked for those of you to sign up was because while I was there, I was going to buy the tickets for those who were traveling at the same time we're traveling, or not we, at the same time the big group is traveling. Again, only 20% of the tickets can be purchased online. So that was why I was saying get your tickets early, because otherwise you will have to purchase them in person. And the problem with purchasing in person is, um, if you wait until the day of your ferry, based on what I saw, there are a lot of people. So again, um, Dr. Woods, I can answer your question offline, regarding TAA students.
Okay. The food and bus link wasn't available. Is it up now?
What do you mean it's not available? It was available. Dr. Woods is saying all the links are working.
Okay. What exactly do you mean by traveler's insurance?
I personally don't get traveler's insurance. Traveler's insurance is like, I don't know, like it's the kind of thing where, okay, let's say that you can purchase traveler's insurance on your airfare, right? So it says things like if you got sick and you had already, and you can do this on any airlines. You got sick and you weren't able to make the flight, you would get your reimbursement. You had proof, medical proof that you weren't able to get it, then you would get your traveler's insurance covered. Or let's say you got sick when you were overseas in another country or a different location, Puerto Rico, you would go through different hoops and then you would eventually get reimbursed if you had to be, let's say, God forbid, you had to be air vac'd out or something like that. We're just allowing people to, if you want to get that insurance, you're by all means welcome to, but it's not something that that we're personally purchasing.
Uh,
I personally am not doing that, but everyone's welcome to do whatever they'd like to do.
so after we pay, who will provide us with our ferry bus tour and food tickets?
Okay. Again, that's why it's very important that if you're getting the ferry, please have it be at the times that the buses are picking up and dropping off, which we already mentioned. If you're traveling outside of that time, please get your own ticket, because we will not have people to connect with you in San Juan. I hope that makes sense. So, for example, some people are coming in on the 3rd. Let's say that they're flying in, well, some people are flying in on the 2nd, on Friday the 2nd, and they're going to catch the ferry, or they're going to get transportation from San Juan Airport to Ceiba, and then they're going to get over from Ceiba over to Vieques, and they want to be there for Sabbath. That's perfectly fine, but they're arranging their own transportation, so that that they can be sure that they get the ferry and they get the right transportation until they get there. And then, they would coordinate if they wanted to with our bus transportation on the island, or they may end up renting a vehicle. So if you're traveling at the times that we talked about and you want to use the ferry and the bus at those times, by all means, register. I hope that makes sense.
Okay. And then someone asked, how do we know if the sign up for the ferry was completed and charged through Liberty and Health Alliance?
You can reach out to Dr. Woods. Dr. Woods, if you can put your phone number in um, if you can put that in the chat, that would be great.
Okay. And uh okay, there's some other people asking about logistics. I am arriving well before the bus and ferry times, but who do we contact to get our tickets?
Okay, so they're planning to ride with us, so then you can go ahead and reach out to Tammy or Dr. Woods, because she'll have a list as well, but probably first to try with Tammy. And if that doesn't work, you're welcome to call me too. I'm just getting a little bit overwhelmed in some of these details. But try Tammy first and Dr. Woods and myself, and we will work out to get your tickets. You just make sure that you're there. And when you get there, we will provide you a contact person, whoever's riding the bus at that time. I can tell you right now, Dr. Woods and myself will be on the first bus transportation time. We will make sure someone at the 3 p.m. time has your ferry ticket. We will ensure that that takes place. Some of these details were just a little bit in flux since we're still about 5 weeks away, and a lot of this information we just discovered over the last 4 or 5 days, just because things were, I'm so grateful that we had the opportunity of going because a lot of things were clarified.
Okay, someone asked another question, but I think that could be deferred to Dr. Woods and Tammy. Now, someone asked another transportation question. It's does the $60 for bus transportation include the adventure day on Friday and hiking on Sabbath?
Yes, yes. That's for the whole time.
Okay, someone asked, where will we meet in the airport for the bus?
Okay, that one, please, if you can just give us a little bit of time because I still have to talk to the bus driver. I don't want to give wrong information, but we will let you know.
I think that, I mean, at this moment in time, I believe that's all the questions that I can tell.
Okay, well, this is exciting, guys. We have more questions, which means we're getting more answers little by little. So let's all just keep praying that God will continue to bless, that He'll bring us, most importantly, right now, the doctors and the dentists and the medical professionals that we need to be able to maximize the number of patients that are being able to served, and that we can get all the licensure in place. And I know God is blessing. When He worked that miracle out with the school, I mean, the timing was so amazing. She was already asleep. Had she called me just a little bit before and I didn't have Gladys to translate, the whole thing was just everything that has been happening and is happening is very clearly, in my opinion, God is leading. So He's going to work out all of these details. And I just thank you so much to all of you for your willingness to volunteer and to be flexible missionaries. God's going to do something very exciting. Mr. Gilbert, can you close us with prayer, please?
Dr. Lewis, can I just ask one question real quick? One other person was asking, will there be another Zoom?
Oh, yes. We're not anywhere near done. We will have lots more Zoom meetings, and you're going to start to have department Zoom meetings, so individual department meetings as well. Good question. Mr. Gilbert, are you still there?
Yes. Our Father in heaven, thank you so much, Lord, for your kindness, your generosity. Lord, please help that we'll have more professionals and non-professionals that will sign up. We definitely need the professional doctors and the dentist and the hygienist and optometrist and anyone that can serve you, Lord. We need your help, Lord. Please send these folks. The patients need them. The people on Vieques need them. You know it better than we. Looked like that one lady who testified on the video. She definitely urged for us to help them. And Lord, help us to do your will. We ask all in Christ's name for His sake. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everybody. And we will have another Zoom meeting within the next week and a half or so. God bless. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor.